You are listening to the WYRD Mountain Gals Show. Prepare yourself.
Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knock. Miss Alicia. Miss Alicia, is that you? Are you there? Are you there?
Hello, who is it?
I'm gonna sit on the porch for a minute till you finish eating that damn sausage biscuit or whatever the hell you're eating.
Sugar biscuit. You don't want to watch me eat?
Oh golly, what a day, what a week, what a month, what a year, what a lifetime.
What a lifetime is it?
Ah, this morning I woke up at 7:30, and the past two nights I've slept all the way through the night and have not had to get up either to pee, which I usually do, or because I had pain, because I needed pain meds. I slept all the way through. And this morning when I woke up at 7:30, I started going through my life. It's like I saw my life flash in front of my eyes. And it was mostly my adult life. So, late teenage years. And and I did this and then I did that and blah blah blah. And I said, God, are you preparing to die? What the hell's going on? And then I thought, no, I just had a full night's sleep for the first time in I don't know when. I don't know. But yeah.
Awesome.
So that was weird. But it was weird last night. Y'all, we were recording this on a Thursday. The Thursday before Valentine's Day. And last night but all day yesterday, we had rain here. And I love the sound of rain. I always find it so kind of soothing and comforting. And if it's summertime and I'm gardening, when I hear the rain, I think, oh, good, I don't have to water today. That'll be good. But rain doesn't do that for me anymore.
What does it do?
It rained all day, and then last night we had thunder and more rain, and I just kept thinking, what's the river doing? What is the river doing? Yeah.
Well, I can tell you from having driven past it this morning a few minutes ago that the river, it looks very angry. It is the color of chocolate milk. And it's pretty high and around Sandy Bottom, Spent Creek area that I would say, well, it's already kind of overflowed one of its banks there, but it's not out in the road. But it's definitely high.
Got it.
And what's a shame is the reason I could kind of gauge how high it was is because it had covered up all the hurricane debris on the sides of it were covered with water. So at this point, I'm used to seeing this part of a refrigerator over here on that side of it and this big old giant bush over here that had floated away and so on. I saw none of that except for a few things just barely sticking up. So it's pretty high.
Lordy.
I don't know how that happened so fast. I don't remember one day's worth of rain doing that to the river in the past.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe it's just a different river now than it was prior to the hurricane,
Maybe. And I don't even know how many inches of rain we got.
Gosh, I don't either. I could ask.
I haven't heard. Yeah, I'll
device.
probably look it up later.
Yeah. I don't either. But did it make you nervous?
Yeah. A little bit.
So logically, you weren't nervous, but then the feeling was nervous.
No, logically, I think logically I was nervous.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
uneasy. Maybe nervous is too big a word. I was uneasy.
I think you were not the only one. I was really surprised.
No,
I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. But, I was hearing about this rain and we needed it. So I knew that meant that the ground was going to be hard and dry. And the rain, if we got a huge amount, it wouldn't naturally soak in. It would, hit the ground and run off for a while and be not as nice for the plants and stuff. But when it came, I noticed that my mom was jumpy about it. She was watching intently or listening intently to the weatherman. And I heard from a friend, and she was kind of nervous, and I thought, well, okay. Now I wasn't nervous for whatever reason. I didn't get nervous last night, uh, or yesterday at all. Last night I actually went in there and I sat with the window open and I listened to that thunder and stuff because it started raining pretty hard and thundering around 11 or so, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And I just sat there and listened to it, and it was nice and it relaxed me. I fell asleep right beside the window with the window open, and I woke up with my neck in a terrible grip, you know.
Well, you know what they say though, Appalachian lore. If there's thunder in February, there'll be frost in April.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
I forgot that. I don't doubt that we'll have some frost in April. Everything, I'm looking out the window now, everything is just kind of turned upside down as far
Yeah,
as
that's a good way to
routine.
put it.
Yeah. So, it was, I guess I'm just out of touch or something, but there's something about a full moon that makes me relax. It makes me sleep better.
Mm.
Something about sleeping under, even when it's cloudy and raining for whatever reason. And I know that goes contrary to popular whatever.
Well, no, I got to tell you, I'm the same way. And I used to be, I remember where it was I lived, where my window shone, the light of the full moon would shine on me while I was sleeping. And I loved that. And I always slept so well.
I love it.
I don't sleep at new moon. That's when I get all fidgety.
Well, yeah. And
But full moon, I always find it relaxing. But yeah, whatever.
same.
I don't know what relaxes me anymore.
Well, you asked me what it would take to get relaxed, and my mind went blank. I don't know. So,
got it. Well,
you,
I'm not even drinking right now because I'm on these antibiotics. Maybe I'll pick up a little glass of red wine in a few weeks, but right now I'm just kind of doing the do, I guess.
doing the do. You're not drinking. You want to take up smoking? I'll come over there and hang out.
No, thank you.
That's one thing I'd love to see is Miss Byron Ballard high on weed.
Well, who asked me the other day, when was the last time you even did that? And I said, well, I think it was about a year and a half ago up at with a friend of mine. And they were like, what? And I said, well, yeah. I mean, because we always go down to her camp and there's cold drinks and snacks and stuff. And that was my snack that time. So.
Well, okay. So does anything happen to you when you?
Well, I have to say, when I smoked pot as a youngster, it just put me to sleep.
Right.
It didn't make me relaxed or hungry or any of that. It just put me to sleep. But it's a lot stronger now than it used to be. A lot stronger. So I got buzzy for sure.
Well, do you get paranoid or do you get relaxed?
Well, in that situation, I was totally relaxed. But my problem with it is that I can't stand the smell.
Mm-hmm.
It smells like a skunk.
Mm-hmm.
Even the so-called good stuff still smells
Skunky.
nasty. I mean, I'd rather smoke mugwort the way that smells than smoke it just because I can't stand the way it smells. And then I can't stand the way my mouth tastes afterwards. And somebody said, well, then maybe you need to do gummies or something like that. And it's like, I am not interested enough in it. It doesn't do enough for me to find other ways, other delivery systems that might be, to me, more pleasant.
I agree. I mean, I would tell you, don't even think about gummies. Don't even think about oil or anything, and use that stuff for medicine.
Yeah.
The people who take gummies for fun, I don't understand that breed of human. They're the same kind of people who take pills for fun.
Right.
They'll take what I consider to be downers or whatever. They'll take codeine or something for fun. It's like, that's not fun to me. To
Right,
me.
right.
So I save the gummies and stuff like that for if I need them as medicine. They take
Right.
longer to go into your body and they take longer to come out of your body too. The thing about smoking is it's that instant kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why people like it. That's why people like to smoke it, because they have an instant feeling of a buzz from it. But then
Mm-hmm.
that's not all it does, you know. But you're right about the smell and the taste. I recently found out that they have stuff that they sell in these, you know, dispensaries and stuff that is supposed to be very low smell, so you could take it to work or something, I guess. I don't know. Take your joint to work. But I don't know how that could possibly be. And although I know it's all genetically altered, I don't like the thought of trying to alter a smell out of a plant and stuff. You know, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just old hippie is what it is.
Well, and for me, I just I don't like it. I mean, there's a lot of herbs I do like, and enduring the smell of it
Mhm.
for what little buzz I get from it, it's
It's
just
not
not
worth
worth it to me.
it's not a good trade-off. Yeah, I
No, that's
understand
exactly
that.
right. Not a good trade-off. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Well, I also think that smoking it can slash maybe should be a medicinal thing as well because of my, you know, my lungs. I when I smoke it, my lungs feel better, but I have a tendency to anxiety, and it will also help me
Oh,
with that a little bit.
yeah.
When I was a teenager and when I was a young adult, I didn't smoke very often. But when I did, I would get a little weirdly paranoid. So what I did for many years is I used that as a tool. If I had a day off, I worked a lot back then. I had multiple jobs and I rarely had any time off or time to myself. And when I would get that, I would have a huge amount of cleaning and work and laundry to do. And what I would do is I would get up and I would wake and bake. I'd get up, smoke some pot, and then about 10 minutes after I was done, I'd be drinking a cup of coffee and I'd look around and I'd go, holy crap, this place needs to get cleaned right now before somebody comes in. Because if they come in and see this house like this, they'll know that I'm high. And for some reason, I would always think that, oh, I better clean the house before somebody finds out I was high. And I would clean my whole house, and it'd end up being 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I would be exhausted, getting ready, and I would take a nap, and I would wake up, and the house would have been done. And so I used it as a tool for
Wow.
time.
Well, that is a good way to do it. That's really handy.
For me. And then when I retired and after dad, you know, got sick and everything, I had more time to myself and I started doing it more. And that's when it
Hmm.
just, you know, now I do it and I don't look around and go, oh, this house is dirty. I better clean it. Somebody will know I'm high. I figure hey, they're going to
You-
know anyway. If they saw it clean, they'd figure I was, it's just not an issue anymore.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, so you know, I think I still use it as a tool. I want to circle back around to the weather events, if that's okay. Do you think that a lot of people in this area went through that nervousness too? I mean, it's kind of a leading
Um,
question.
well, I'm trying to think what my socials were like today. A lot of people were saying things like, well, I drove past the French Broad and Biltmore, or went to see what Swannanoa was doing. So I think people were active about that. But honestly, I think we've got this low-lying PTSD all through this area, and it's going to take a while for us to get to the place where we talk ourselves off the ledge when we go, oh yeah, well, so the weatherman on Channel 13 said we got 2 inches of rain at the airport. What does that mean for where I am? And then looking that up and trying to figure out, well, if I got 2 inches of rain, what did the river? How much rain did they get in Haywood County? How big is the pigeon? How big is the pigeon when it flows in the French Broad? Uh, what's happening with the reservoirs? I mean, we have to think all the way through that. We can't just think, oh, it's raining, I better make sure I've got an umbrella with me.
Yeah.
No, it's just it got way more complicated in September.
And yeah, it did, and life changing. My buddy from New Zealand contacted me yesterday, the day before, and he was telling me that they're all concerned for us. I said, "What, your whole country, or what are you talking about?" He said, "People that he talks to are really concerned for us in this country," and he went on to give a lot of the reasons why. But then he said, "And I'm concerned for you people in those mountains where you are." That's, you know, so
Oh, that's sweet. If
he
only,
knows,
go ahead.
well, he knows that there's been a hurricane here. And I don't think a lot of, people outside in the world may not realize that. So I thought
Yeah.
that was nice, but
You know who doesn't apparently realize it is the I'm just going to say the whole thing so you can throw it out. Down in Raleigh and up in DC, who keep allocating money that nobody here sees.
that there was an article about that in the local paper. There was also a report about that on WLOS. I was kind of
LOS.
surprised
Yeah.
that there was a report about it at all, but
Mm-hmm.
they seem to pick and choose their news. Uh,
Uh-huh. Sinclair.
yeah, so I was surprised, but yeah, it may be all part of that whole myth of FEMA never showed up here. you know,
Yeah.
we never saw FEMA. So, yeah,
Well, and we keep hearing, millions, billions, trillions of dollars have been allocated, but we ain't seen it.
no, no.
So when's it going to show up? That's the question.
Well, the
And
local,
how's it going to show up, which we talk about every week on this damn podcast.
I don't know how it's going to show up, and it really should have been here by now, I would think.
We're
And
almost 5 months. Almost 5 months.
mhm, mhm.
Yep.
And
Is that right? Wait a minute.
yes, October, November, December, January,
Yeah. Almost
February,
5 months. 5 months.
and I don't know. You know, people are still talking about the hurricane and the flood in New Orleans, Katrina.
Yeah.
And it's all these years later. And I expect
Fifteen.
it's going to be the same for all of us. Those
Yeah.
people, they have no intention of forgetting it. They don't even try. It's just become part of their vernacular, part of their being, part of all of it is now they are people who are aware that something like Katrina can happen and did happen. I guess we're all going to be like that from around here, whether we want to be or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean, it's a natural disaster, and that's what natural disasters do to the people who are there when it happens.
Mhm. Well, I
But I swear, if we vote in any of the people who are currently in office, if we allow them to stay in office at the next election, then we are the fools, not them.
oh well, we're definitely the fools for letting them
Yeah.
in the first place, because for many of them, it's not the first time they've been up for election, and yet
No,
they
it ain't
would
their
like to be
first
here.
rodeo, is it?
No, but it's the gullible public's first rodeo every time, evidently.
Apparently, we don't remember that Tom Tillis doesn't do a damn thing for us in DC. And so we elect somebody who's like him to be his, junior, to be Robin to his Batman, and he don't do a damn thing either.
Uh,
And
No,
I ain't even gonna talk about Chuck Edwards because y'all are tired of hearing me talk about Chuck Edwards.
hey, that
What
man
are those
has a
people
big
doing for
future.
us? What are those people doing for us? And my response to that is, and get ready for the crows is they're not doing a thing. Not that I can see. Not that the people of Western North Carolina can see.
Well, I'm trying to figure out. I'm smiling not because I think that's funny, because I actually agree with you. I just know that that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be. I was smiling because I was thinking, well, if I was a video editor and I had Byron saying not a thing, mad, what would I do? And I just pictured me making that part silent, putting the crow sound in, and then putting those Batman and Robin words out there, like they'd say bam and boom.
Bam, wham,
Have you
pow.
having these little things come flying out of your mouth? So who knows, y'all? I may be able to someday. I'm gonna try.
Well, if I ever get a little lick of common sense back, because my brain still doesn't work the way it used to work. I'm gonna start encouraging people, just finding people in my not in my neighborhood, God no, but in my community, and saying you should run for office. I'll back you if you run for office. Run for state office, run for local office, run for federal office. How
Yeah,
about we get Tom Tillis? How about we get a crowbar and get Tom Tillis's lazy ass out of there? What you reckon?
I reckon he wouldn't like that very much because
Well, but he's got a huge war chest and a lot of money. And, and he's got the advantage of being a good Christian man, whatever the hell that means right now, because I don't even pretend to know. I
uh,
mean, I know good men who are followers of Jesus, but they are not the Christians that are being touted to us right now.
right.
They're just not.
I have to agree with you. I agree with you. I have a big problem with the dichotomy of what things are versus what they are said to be. And,
Yes,
and I've always just had a real problem with that. It's like, if you're in politics, don't tell me you're trying to help me if
help
you're
me.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just that double speak and stuff. But anyway, I was thinking today it's 35 days until American official spring.
Uh-huh.
Is it the vernal equinox? I guess vernal equinox.
Yes, ma'am.
35 days. We can handle it. We can do 35 days. And by the time that 35 days is around, I'm going to have a fevered look.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Well, we were out a few days ago because Mother Grove did not pass our fire marshal inspection. Uh, well, it was all right. The fire marshal was great. She just said you can't be using power strips. You got to be using a surge protector. So we're going to replace our power strips with surge protectors. Uh, no extension cords. Okay, we got it. We got it. The thing, she just looked at the main altar and she said, "Could we have a discussion about these candles?" And I said, "Well, yes, ma'am. We generally mostly use the battery operated tea lights." And she said, yeah, I get that, but you do understand that these candles, in the event of a fire, would in fact burn." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." So she was so good, and she explained all the things we need to do to pass when she comes back, and she's coming back about a week and a half, I guess, and we'll have it all cleaned up and tidy, and because we are aware. It's just been, as I told her, we've just been collecting up stuff to give to people, and we haven't thought about any of that stuff. We really haven't, but we need to, and yeah,
well, I just bought some surge protectors
yeah.
for moms, and
Yeah, good
they're
idea.
incredibly cheap. They don't cost hardly anything like they used to.
No, no.
We would pay several $100s for a good surge protector back in
Wow.
my day. And I got one that was a surge protector. It had a place for 8 outlets and 4 USB. And it was a
Nice.
surge protector. It was $10
Yeah.
and free shipping. And you know from where, so never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Well, mine is very similar to that. And mine came from Lowe's in Inca Candler for $14.
Yeah.
So So I didn't have to deal with them over there that you're talking about. I paid a little bit more, but I walked in, walked out. So that got done. And then Mary Jane was taking care of some stuff yesterday. So yeah, we're going to be in good shape. We've never failed one before. And actually, we've often been in way worse shape than we are right now. So I think they're cracking down because it's an old building and the wiring is weird anyway. There was a fire in the elevator back in, I think, October probably.
Oh,
So they're being super careful, and we want them to be careful.
yeah, they do. Or
No,
something.
because it's the original. It's the original problem. You can talk about all the other isms you want to talk about,
Yeah.
but the first ism is sexism. And it has been around for, I don't know, 6,000, 6,500 years that people understood that women were lesser. Women were more connected to the earth and therefore were dirtier. They weren't as smart. They weren't as capable of wisdom. And so any woman who expressed that kind of wisdom, and I think about, well, there's just a lot of them in the classical world
In the
that
class.
we know very little about now because their legacy was systematically obscured. And I always think about what was discovered by a woman 1,500 years ago that we don't know anything about unless a man in her life stole the idea and put it forward.
You'll never know is the thing.
No,
You'll never know.
because misogyny, woman hating, let's just call it by its name, is so prevalent that we don't even see it anymore.
That's it. That's
Yep.
it. That's exactly what I was trying to get at, and you
Yep.
said it correctly. I just don't understand the point of it. And maybe
But
there is
the point of it is to control the people who make children. Control them so that they
no,
make more children if that's the choice, or in the case of China a few decades ago, not make more children. But it's all to so that women are not free
hmm.
to be who and what they might choose to be. Their
There was
options are limited because the culture, and it's a global culture. I
it is
mean, you have it in some countries, it's better for women than in many countries, but even in the most enlightened Northern European, like Denmark and Iceland and Norway and places like that, it's still the default for bad, the default for weak is always women.
hmm.
The default for stupid, women, incompetent women. And
I
it's global. It's just global.
I well saw a report, I guess this was last week, and it was a news report. And they were talking about these dolphins that are able, they found that they reproduced. Excuse me, it might not have been dolphin, it was just some fish in an aquarium that reproduced with no males. And so they tell the little story, and at the end of the story the male anchor says, "Whew, that's terrifying." And and the female anchor just looked over there at him like, you know, and,
Wow.
and didn't challenge it, didn't say a word. They just
No.
get to commercial. And yeah, that is a terrifying thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
If what if
That
women didn't need men because they could reproduce on their own and keep the species going without them? I guess that's
imagine.
got a lot to do with it, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. There is a really good book that I recommend to people, even though a lot of people come back to me and go, it was so dry. I just couldn't get through it. It's called The Creation of Patriarchy by Dr. Gerda Lerner.
Spell
And
that
it just
name.
Gerda, Gerda, Lerner, Lerner.
Okay.
And she died, oh, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, something
Yeah.
like that. She lived in North Carolina
Hmm.
at the end of her life. Um, to see that this was a system that was manufactured by men while women were busy having babies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And that it's not a natural thing. It's not just this is how we are, this is how our nature is. Women are the nurturers and men are the protectors. Well, that's
Well,
just crap.
there's you can have a general rule and say, well, as a general rule, women tend to be this way or guys tend to be that way. You can have a general rule, but you shouldn't. What was it Jessica Atreides said? What was it? It was you did you display a custom fit, but exclaim a general garment. Something
Oh,
along those lines.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
no, forget that noise. But it's 2025. That's just my point. I sit around and go, really? Are we still doing this shit
Yeah,
in
yeah.
2025? And we are. And is it just we're
Happily.
lazy?
Many people are happily doing that, going, well, but a woman needs to have her biblical role, blah, blah, blah. And I'm fighting on every side of this is what's in the Bible bullshit's going on. Because it's somebody else who is someone I know who is very liberal and leftist and whatever else posted the meme of, there's no white people in the Bible. You know what there's not in the Bible? White people. And I'm like, listen up. Romans were white. Romans are in the Bible. Do you think the only Bible we're talking about is the Old Testament? Because
Right, but
I'm here to tell you there were white people. White pale skinned people were also in the Bible. Sorry, I know this is something that all the white people want to say. Well, but it's I understand that I'm unimportant now. That it's only brown people that are in the Bible. But do you read the Bible? Did you read it? Let me quote a little bit from the book of Luke for you. Golly.
you sound like you read the Bible all the time.
I haven't in years, but I have read it all the way through several times.
Uh, it's an interesting book. It's the interesting book of books. I've often said that you can find an opposite answer for every question somewhere in the Bible. There's an
Yeah,
opposite answer for it. And so that makes it a good book to illuminate thoughts, philosophies, and theories. But it,
yeah,
it also makes it possible to just back up any damn thing you.
yes, yes, exactly.
So it's an interesting book, and that's where I put it, and it catches your imagination, and I put it there. But it's designed, and it's obviously designed to be a mechanism of control because
Yes,
the book, boy, let's just get it all out there. The book itself, though, it gives people not just advice for living, it gives them fear of hell if they don't do what is being told, what they're being told to in the book. And so,
right. And they're also being told that all of that stuff in the book is historically accurate. And
right,
we know even history books are not historically accurate. And this is the tale of migrations and wars and civilizations rising and civilizations collapsing. Yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh. But how much of that is actually true? Every 10 years or so, somebody goes, we have discovered Mount Ararat, and on it is the Great Ark. We've found that. History is real. And you just go, you did not. Number one, you did not, because that is a mythological cycle that has been around since the Sumerians. And number two, no, just stop it. What are you trying to prove? That the Bible is really, really real. Well, the trauma of the Bible is real today, where women are mistreated, where daughters are less than sons, where wives are multiple and they are less important than the children they bear.
cattle
So,
is the word.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you can start to prove stuff there, but you don't have to because we're still living under so much biblical nonsense.
It's that's been, yeah, I'm just going to say, yeah, I've got too many things I could say to that. It's true. The Bible is a mysterious book, but it's caused some harm, I think. It's,
Oh, yeah,
it's,
undoubtedly.
well,
Thousands of years of harm.
yeah. And to explain that to somebody who's on the other side, though, they hear something like this and they think, oh, blasphemy. We must burn those witches.
Yeah, no, I'm laughing, but yeah, that's exactly right. Because they don't know the Levitical laws. Or if they do know the Levitical laws, then they pick and choose. And they will say, "Oh, God, I've argued this for years, for decades." I'll go, "Well, it says in Leviticus you can't eat shrimp, or you can't eat bacon, you can't eat pork, you can't," and they'll go, "No, because Jesus came and he absolved all those laws don't apply to us Christians anymore." But as soon as they want to fuss about some poor little old gay guy in their community, they go, "Well, in Leviticus it says blah blah blah,"
We should
and no,
stone.
and no amount of saying, "Well, you wearing different kinds of fibers on your body at the same time is as blasphemous as homosexuality." They don't get it. They don't understand. This is an offense to the Lord. Do not eat any shrimp. No shrimp for you.
No
No
pork.
cheese on a hamburger. No, that can't be happening. You can't have bacon on a hamburger. None of that. None of that. Well, but no, because when Jesus came, we got a new set of laws. Except, wait, let me pick and choose something I read in Judges. I
Right.
think I heard about that in Judges from my preacher, because I can guarantee they haven't read Judges. Because talk about
Judges is,
tedious.
yeah, I was getting ready to say judges is boring.
Yeah.
So
And
it's not as
avoid
bad as all the
Obadiah if you
begats.
can. Yeah. But I
I
mean,
tell
that's
you.
just arguing with people that they don't have a basis for argument. They just have belief.
Yep. And
And this
that's
is what they're told. And this is what they believe.
and I have wondered, often wondered, if it would even be possible, which I don't think it is, to raise a child up without any of that. Because culture, if you let the child out in society, they're going to pick up. They're going to pick up on those cultural belief systems and all of that. But if you were the Swiss Family Robinson and you could raise your kids on an island without contacting anybody else in the world for help, what kind of children would be raised up? I mean, if it was, I could.
Right. Well, the child would be raised by whatever their parents' doctrine was.
Yeah.
And if the parents were being very open-minded in their doctrine, then they'd be open-minded kids. But we don't live in a Christian nation, because our foundational documents tell us that, but we live in a Christian culture. So that, I mean, I'm not Christian.
What can you say? I tried all my life. It just never took. So I tried. I really did. I don't get to be in that club, I guess. But I went to the right schools and I knew the right people. I couldn't make myself believe it.
No,
I
no.
tried.
And in so many ways, I'm gonna fly against the Department of Anti-Christian Culture, or whatever that crap is that the president just formed. Um, but it'd be so much easier to be a Christian in this country, because the country's laid out for you. So Sunday, you get a day off. Well, not everybody, but they in the South they tell you not even to mow your yard on Sunday, because that's an abomination.
You can't do any
Um,
work unless there's a mule in the ditch.
exactly.
Or you were a woman getting supper ready.
Right.
Then you could
You
work.
can't go to the liquor store on Sunday and buy any liquor.
Mm-mm.
And in states, I don't know if states still have blue laws, but they
Oh,
used
yeah.
to.
It's
You can't buy beer before 12, because then you got to have to battle all the Christians getting out of church. I don't know what that is all about, but
I,
that's a thing.
I,
Um, yeah,
well, we
the schools have Easter and Christmas holidays, public schools. I
it's
mean, they'll call it the winter holiday or the spring holiday, but we all know what it is. That's just white Christian washing it. So, yeah,
uh,
I
uh,
don't know. We could talk about this forever.
we
What a
could.
mess.
we well, this is pagan apologetics?
We should have some apologetics. Holy moly.
Well, I loved doing apologetics on the radio station. Now, that's just the truth. That was a fun show for me because it would give me an excuse to go in and do all this research on some weird thing. And I really loved it. But we never got around to paganism because that was considered to be too dangerous. You didn't want to talk about those Satanists.
Very dangerous.
WYRD.